Got a great guest for you next, the great Chris Bono. So, topic: branding your branding your program, getting people fired up. So, Coach Bono coaches at Wisconsin. After successful tenure at South Dakota State, in his 6 years at South Dakota, he guided the program as it became the Division I program, producing 24 national qualifiers, 5 All-Americans, and a national champion. As an athlete, he racked up 130 career wins, 3-time All-American, national champ, national and international competition. Bono's a 2-time U.S. national champ, took first at the World Cup in both 2002, 2003, 3-time world team member, all-around great guy. We had a great talk we did before on Meeting of the Minds on Instagram, but I'm going to turn him over to you now. Chris Bono, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, first things first, man. I wish everybody had that mindset that Zane Rutherford just had about competing and practice and wrestling live. It's a very important part of our program, and the things he said hit home. I think if you have 10 guys like that or 20 guys in the room like that that have that kind of mindset, you'll have that success. You know, he likes to wrestle live. That's part of practice. So anyway, I just jumped on that. But so for me, guys, welcome. I don't know who's on the call. I see there's a bunch of people, but I'd like to make it interactive. I don't know if we can do that. I think there's a chat feature on here or something, but I don't have a slideshow. I don't have a presentation. I just wanted to get on here and talk a little bit about branding and what really made the jump for me and our program at South Dakota State and then into Wisconsin, but also what we need to do for wrestling in high school programs, club programs, and even if there are some other college coaches on here, I think that we basically need to quit being lazy, number one. And number two, we need to get out there and promote our programs. The thing is promoting your program is free. There's no more excuse saying it costs money, right? Everybody, the excuse we always used to use in wrestling was it's expensive. We don't have the money. I wish I'd get more money. Here's the budget, blah, 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 right? Social media is free. And there's so many different ways on social media to promote your program. And as a head coach, if you're not on all of them, you need to be on every single one of them. I'm lucky. I've got a couple of kids that are in college now, and they keep me up to date on the social media and what I need to be on. A lot of it is I'm on it to look at recruits to see their behavior, but also a lot of it is I'm promoting my program. I'm on TikTok, right? I don't know why I'm on TikTok, but as I'm scrolling through TikTok, I see the University of Georgia, Kirby Smart, head football coach, is on TikTok. I saw Dabu Sweeney on TikTok, right? So obviously they're promoting their programs, through TikTok, right? That's a college age app, but right, they're promoting their program. So real quick, the first way that I would like to just let you know that I think to start your program, the very first thing I did when I got to South Dakota State, we were last in the country, dead last, 77th in the country, no national qualifiers. And I started to put a recruiting plan together, and I said, how am I going to recruit? I have no results. Our facilities are subpar. What am I going to do? So I basically put together a mantra. I put together something on social media, right, that we could say every single day. And the first thing we said was get jacked. All right. Well, I think what most of you guys would know is that get jacked took off and stuck and still is sticking. They're still using it today. And if you ask somebody right now what get jacked is, they would probably tell you South Dakota State across the country. And that's what you guys have to try to do with your program. Okay. You have to get something that you believe in. All right. The first thing I did was I came up with a philosophy of what get jacked means. Right. And I took it over here to Wisconsin, where we use the jump around. What does jump around mean? Right. To us, it means it just means hustle, effort, and attitude. What's your best hustle and effort attitude in every situation in your life? And so we took that, and at South Dakota State, that's what we use. At the end of every interview, we say get jacked. At the end of every social media post, it was get jacked. Instagram post, get jacked, and it just took off and took off. And so when I was recruiting, that's how we did it. We just put stuff out there and people started liking it. Then the next thing we did was we put content out there. All right. I couldn't show my facilities. I couldn't show wins and losses. I couldn't show you my team. Right. There were no highlight videos. They were all bad. We were very, very bad. So we put content out there. We got them to get them to know our kids. How can we get our fans to take interest in our kids? What can we do to get our fans interested in our program? And when you always tell stories about the kids that are at the school, it makes a big, big deal. So we got content. You know, we put practices out there. We'd stage some things, right? We started the Jacked Up Mondays, which were a big hit. And we had content 3 times a week. We did an all access, a Jacked Up Monday, and we did one other thing. I forget what it was, but we had 3 things a week. And it started really, really taking off. Then the next year we started a podcast. So we started 4 things. So every, and then here's the biggest thing too, is I'm a wrestling fan, right? I like it, but I'm not going to go search people's Twitter accounts to get content. So what I said was, I'm the biggest fan out there. I'm the biggest supporter out there. I love it, but I'm not searching accounts. But when people sent it right to me and I just had to click on a link, I would listen to it. I'm in my car. It's over my speakers, right? I'm traveling. I click a link. So we found a way to get all this information out to people all the time. So nobody had to search for it. When you're searching for things, right? Jacked Up Monday might come across your Twitter account on Wednesday. It's outdated. Podcast on Thursday comes across the following Friday. It's outdated. So right to their inbox, whether it's email, whether it's personal messages, whether it's text messages, send it out. And it really, 4 days a week, people were getting stuff, and it was right to their inbox. Then the other thing is you got to have this mantra, I call it, has to fit into your team philosophy. So your team believes in it. Now you're making shirts with the name on it, with your mantra on it, and your kids are wearing it and they're believing in it. And people ask, what does jump around mean? Well, it's hustle, effort, and attitude in all areas of your life, socially, academically, and athletically. And you have your kids saying it, they're buying in it. So now you're helping your program, as well as really marketing it and getting it out there to the public, getting it out there to your fans, and getting it to your parents. The other thing I think that really helped us take off in marketing is our staff and I never said no to anything, whether it was speaking at the Rotary Club, whether it was showing up at a free clinic. And you can ask these guys, you guys ask this mindset guys, every time they've asked me to done something, I say yes, right? This is a free area, a free avenue. For some of you guys to get to know me. I don't know who's on here, but I might not know any of you. You might become a Wisconsin Badger fan here, which might lead you to buying a season ticket, which might lead to maybe supporting us at the national tournament, which might be like you're a great coach and you have some kids that we don't know about, sending kids our way. So it becomes an avenue when you say no to, don't say no to anything, right? We're all busy, right? But you got 24 hours in a day. Hey, I can't jump on this call at 7 p.m., but I can do it at 4:30 in the morning, right? I'm up at 4, let's do it at 4:30. Let's see how serious they are. I'm busy. So I make sure I say yes to everything that people ask me to do in order to promote my program. I talk about consistency a little bit. The consistency is you can't just put stuff out there once or whenever you feel like it. Can't be once a week or, hey, I forgot, I'll put something random out there. Nobody wants to see a random tweet or a random podcast once a month, right? It's got to be a systematic approach. So I know every Monday a podcast is coming out, right? I look forward to getting that email so I can click on it to listen to it. I'll set aside 20 minutes because I know that Monday I enjoy it. I want to listen to it. But when it doesn't come out and it only takes one time, you forget to do it on a Monday, you're probably turning me off. I mean, I'll never forget some when we first started doing our Jacked Up Mondays, we would be traveling on a Monday and we're filming it with an iPad, and it was terrible. It was terrible content, wasn't edited. It was bad, but we got something out there until we actually grew and actually had people doing it for us and really making it pretty organized. So you have to do something that has to be consistent and let people know. And then you let them know, like when we're done doing our Jacked Up or when we're done doing our Jump Around Mondays at the end of the year, we say, hey, this is our last one for the year. We appreciate the support. Make sure you tune back in September 10th. That's when we'll start giving you the information, on all the Mondays about our program. And then you have to give everybody, I like to have buy-in to your program, to have buy-in to your marketing plan, you got to give people access. If you ask all my fans, I give them access to me, my staff, my kids, the wrestling room, our program. Right? Why? Now, I'm not saying that's the way to do it, right? But remember, we're trying to market our program. I'm trying to sell out my arena. I'm trying to give my kids the most exposure they could possibly get. So when someone says, hey, can I come film your practice? No, right? How's that helping? It's not helping what you're trying to do. So access to your program has got to be at a paramount. And I might be speaking at a higher level now, but I know we have some high school coaches on here and you don't want parents in your room, right? And I agree with that because parents are in there for the wrong reasons. They're wanting to see if their kid is winning in practice, right? They want to see how you're running it wrong so they can jump on you. But I think it's important to maybe you do it once a week, once a month. Hey, practice is open. I want you to come in here, and I want you to, here's what, you give them a little talk beforehand. This is what I want the message to be when you're out spreading it in the community. I want it to be about hustle, effort, and attitude. I want you guys to understand, here's my mantra. Let's do it. Let's keep doing it and building this thing. And then really kind of what really set our program really going crazy when I was at South Dakota State was we actually won at the, towards my tail end there, we were winning, had a national champion. And it went crazy, right? Obviously we left and came to Wisconsin and we got here, guys, and it was a bigger deal because we have a big time marketing program here. And they didn't want us to have free reign. But we fought them, we challenged them, and we wound up having free reign to market our program. Again, we're on there now at least twice a week. We've got our jump around Mondays that come out every Monday that we update our fans with what they want to hear. I have a press conference on Monday that we get out there as well, and then we do something towards the end of the week, whether it's a highlight video or something in the room, teasing them about a wrestling match to get them fired up. And it's worked. We've come here, we've sold more season tickets than they've ever sold before. We have 97 mat side seats we sell out in 3 minutes. And we're giving our kids exposure. And that's what we want. So with that being said, that's the basis. It's really about consistency. It's about having something and sticking to it. Get that mantra. Have your kids vote on it. Have your community vote on it. And sticking to it and promote it. T-shirts, hats. Again, social media is free. Every ounce of social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, wherever it is, promote it. Do not be afraid to promote your program. Do not be afraid to brag about your program. Don't be afraid to brag about your kids. People want to hear about their social behavior, their volunteer stuff, their academics. You'd be amazed. Everybody wants to win, but it's the intangibles that people want to hear about. The success stories. When Seth Gross came to Wisconsin and the Wisconsin people didn't know his story, it blew up again, right? And he became a folk hero here, and it's been amazing. So, blow it up, blow your program up. Don't be afraid to do it. Get your people fired up about your program. Speak to anybody on campus. You know what I mean? These other, and then the last thing I want to say that I find out is don't be jealous or don't be, we're wrestling. Again, I'm at a football school, right? Some of the kids, football gets this, football gets that. Football gives us everything, right? So I love it when I can bring a football coach in to speak to us, when I can go talk to some football players, when I can go talk to the volleyball team, when I jump on it, right? The more people you get supporting you and talking about your brand and your pro and your model, right? I get all these other coaches to help us recruit. It's a team effort. Find that within your high school, within your clubs. Get together. And, make sure that you're supporting each other, and everybody will promote each other's brand. And it's a wonderful thing. So with that being said, that's the short of it all. Again, I'd like to answer some questions. I see there's some things on here, so I'll get to some questions here. Basically, I think the first question here is, what was it about North Dakota? Well, it was South Dakota State or the University of Wisconsin that you were able to do that wasn't possible for you at Chattanooga? That's a great question. So at Chattanooga, I think we did some great things, right? I think we did some amazing things at Chattanooga, and we were well on our way. Chattanooga, we were, if you remember correctly, my second year there, we were 16-1. And we had 6 guys in the round of 12 that year, and we only won 1. I remember doing the math that if we would have won those 6 matches, we would have been in the top 7 in the country, and walked out of there with 6 All-Americans. So we were great. We had great crowds at Chattanooga. I left early. I was only there 3 years as the head coach, and I think that obviously our success at South Dakota State didn't come till about year 6. Real good success, national champ, couple All-Americans, 12th in the country, was in year 6 there. So that was something that I think if we stayed in Chattanooga a little longer, we would have had great success there as well. And the people down there were amazing. We did some amazing things. But I can tell you, my days at Chattanooga made me successful at South Dakota State. My days at Chattanooga showed me what it was like to be a head coach. When I was at Iowa State, right, it was a big program. We had everything. We had athletic trainers. We had, and we had everything there. At Chattanooga, sometimes you were taping ankles. Sometimes you were driving vans. You learned to grind. You learned to be the whatever it took to win there. And that helped me when I went to South Dakota State. Again, a little program, we grinded. We didn't take no for an answer. We took, if they said no somewhere, we couldn't do it. We figured out a way to do it within what they were allowing us to do it. So it was a blue collar grinding program that we did. And South Dakota State, the reason why we were able to draw bigger crowds was just basically in the town of Brookings is the university, and the fans are absolutely amazing there. Some of my best friends are still were the fans there. And we were able to pack that place. They believed in us. Chattanooga, right? There's so many other things in that town that it was kind of harder to draw the crowd, but we did. And we just had a little more success at South Dakota State. And then now we're at Wisconsin, and, there's so much that goes on here in Madison. And I'm fired up that we're able to draw a great crowd. We're doing some good things. I believe we had a top 5 program this year if we regard to the NCAA championship. I believe we had a national champion or 2 on our team this year. And so now basically this was year 2. I feel like we were in year 5 of my 5-year plan in year 2. And, we did it kind of a different way with some transfers, actually a bunch of transfers. It's not really how I wanted to build the team, but it helped us. It really jump-started this. And now we're going to be back to what I call the 5-year cycle kids. We're bringing in big-time recruits, and we're going to run them through the cycle of the 5-year program and really build this thing and then sustain it for years to come. So that's that kind of question there. I see we've got any advice for when other coaches football don't want to support the wrestling team and make recruiting difficult? That's a good question. You know what I mean? But I haven't, wherever I've been, and that might be a high school thing, because I know there's a lot of competition between kids, and you guys want football players to come out, football players, coaches want them year round and all that. A quick story for me was I came from a powerhouse football program in high school, and luckily enough we had a great coach, and he understood that I was not playing football in college. I was going to wrestle in college. So there were stipulations. If you didn't lift 85% of the time in the summer, you weren't invited to camp and things like that. But it was just communication. It wasn't like I was sitting around doing anything. I was training. I was training for Fargo, what it was now Fargo. I was lifting weights. I was training and doing things, and it was communication. So I really think it's about communication. The first thing I got here was I went to the head football coach and talked to him, and I said, I need your help. How can you help me? And basically we had a great dialogue. I'll do whatever it takes for you, coach. Right? You want me to see a kid? He opens up the best kids on his team, Jonathan Taylor's and the Graham Mertz's and the unbelievable athletes on his team. Talk to our recruits and tell them what it's like being a hero. Tell them what it's like to put on that W on their chest. And it's all about communication. So I think that you got to establish that relationship. You got to establish the trust, and you got to let them know I'm cheering for you. I'm pulling for you. I want you to win. And we need to be a family, and we need to do that. So I think, again, communication, trust, and really establishing the fact that there's no jealousy. We want everybody to win, and we want to do it the right way, and we could use your help. So Another, I guess, is this another question? Can you talk about how you work with other coaches' teams on campus to build more buzz around your team and events? Again, the same thing. I can tell you this. Our volleyball program sells out our arena, the same arena we wrestle in, about 8,000 people. When I went to the first volleyball game and saw the atmosphere there, the first thing I did was I scheduled a meeting with the head coach and said, talk to me. When you got here, how was the program? 6 years ago, we got here, they weren't very good. Okay, well, how did you go from having 400 fans to 8,500? He goes, I basically recruited the right kids. I established the culture. I brought in the right kids, and so forth and so on. So I went to him and I asked him this, and then the next thing I know, 2 months later, he's down in my office saying, hey, let's get our teams together. What do you think of that, right? And so now we paired our guys and gals up. We all met, we talked, we had a sandwich, and now it's I'm rooting for Wisconsin volleyball, right? I'm invested in this coach. I'm invested in their athletes, And then I turned around my very first dual meet. I looked around, I see the head volleyball coach sitting up in the stands. Two dual meets later, I see the whole Wisconsin volleyball team supporting our program. And again, it was just about establishing. I went to him first and said, I want to be like your program. I'm basically coming in kind of the same way you were. And now, 4 or 5 years later, he has that thing sold out. He's got the band there. It's rocking and rolling. It's an amazing atmosphere. 2 years into our program, again, like I said, we've got the highest number of season ticket sales. We've got other teams supporting us. And again, I hang out with these coaches on a social basis. I go to breakfast on a regular basis with our men's hockey coach, our women's basketball coach. I hang out in the sauna with our men's soccer team, our men's soccer coaches. It's just about opening yourself up. You cannot sit in your office all day. You cannot, you get invited to do social things, whether you don't want to do them, you got to go do them. And you got to be a team player. I think being a team player is a big thing. And sacrifice. There's so many nights I do not want to go to a men's basketball game because it starts at 8:30. It's on the Big Ten Network. I can sit in my house and watch it. There's no parking down by the arena. I got to walk a half mile from my office. But you know what? I go down there. And I support them. I make sure those kids see me in the stands because I see them on campus all the time. I see them in the weight room. And I want them to know that I'm supporting them. I want to know that wrestling is it's important for us to we all wear the W here, and we want to make sure we support each other. So hopefully that answers that question. Here's so I think I just answered that one a little bit. The next one is to get people in the stands. Should we take our team to their game and in return they come to ours as colleges as well? So I kind of answered that. Yeah, you do. You can't expect them to come to yours if you're not supporting them. And you know what? It's okay to let them know. I tell them all the time, Coach, I'm coming tonight. I'm coming. I want to see that hustle. Right? It's important to let them know you're coming. You know what I mean? And you know what? That's a great time to put on a shirt with your mantra on it, whatever it could be. You know what I mean? I can name so many off the top of my head right now. Little Rock, Arkansas, Little Rock, get rocked up, right? That's another great one. If you walked in there and everybody had that slogan on your shirt, they're going to know the wrestling team is there supporting them. And then you're also getting your brand out there and letting them know, what's your brand, what you stand for. Hustle, effort, attitude is in the arena tonight. So support them like that. It's amazing. Okay, next question. What on a personal level, aside from the models and social media exposure, what has made you such a successful recruiter? I can tell you this. It's not just me. I'm just a small piece of it. I've got some great coaches that are unbelievable at what they do. First of all, and a little bit about our recruiting philosophy is I like to not pressure kids. Okay, this decision we tell kids it's the next 50 years of your life. This decision you make. So we're not big pressure kids until it really comes time to make a decision. A lot of these other coaches are you have an offer and you have 48 hours to make it. So the other big reason why we're successful is we're personable people. My staff, when we get on in a home visit, that's when we win our recruiting battles. Number one, When we get in front of moms and dads and we're honest and sincere and we tell them the truth. Sometimes we lose kids because we're so truthful, but we tell them the truth and we get in there and we are who we are. I don't believe there's a harder working couple of guys in the business than John Reeder and myself. Morning, noon, night, whatever it takes for our guys to be successful is what it is. 24/7, we'll do it. And then now you throw in, right, we were able to recruit unbelievably well at South Dakota State. So we didn't have the facilities. We don't have, but it was about being, people, skills, about being personable, and then just putting your track record on the line. You know what I mean? I've been there. I've done that. We've been there. We've done that. We've helped kids win Olympic championships. We've coached the best. We have developed kids. I think that's our best attribute. Is I'd like to see a stat of the kids we brought in that aren't the blue chippers, the 5 stars that we've been able to help, have unbelievable careers, whether they're all Americans or national champions or not. How we can take kids like a Seth Gross who transferred for problems and get him back to the top. How we can motivate kids. I think you can see it in our track record, and you can see it. It's proven. Someone can get right online after that and see it. And then really I go back to branding. You go online, you're going to see all my press conferences. You're going to see all of our Monday morning videos. People know us before we even get into their house. And that's what I tried to do at South Dakota State, because I couldn't, again, show them any winning. I couldn't show them facilities, but they knew me. When I got in their house, they knew me. They knew our staff. They knew our kids. And then now at Wisconsin, we get them on campus. Our facilities are amazing. Our resources are even more amazing. Nutrition. When you see our nutrition center, when you see our weightlifting facilities, when you see the support that we have here from chiropractors to dentists to orthopedics stuff to scans that we can scan your body that basically tell us what's a safe weight class you can get to based on your bone density and muscle mass and the water in your body. It is absolutely an amazing place. And then we show them the city of Madison. I mean, who wouldn't want to go to a school that's surrounded by 2 lakes, in the fall? Who wouldn't want to show up to Camp Randall and watch a football game in the best college sports town in America? Who wouldn't want to go watch a concert on the lake every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday during the school year, and then during the spring and summer? An amazing place to live, an amazing place to go to school, an amazing place to watch athletics, and then at Wisconsin, this is the Ivy Leagues of the Midwest. It is. I will put this education up with any school in the country. How great this education is here, how great the school is. And then you're in the Midwest, man, the people are the best, right? People will give you the shirt off their back. So I'm giving you a recruiting pitch right now. I'm not really telling you what's made this good recruiting, but I just think that being a people person and doing what you say you're going to do, the follow through, right? We follow through on everything we do. Our commitment to kids are amazing. If we say we're going to do this for you, we do it, whether it hurts the program or not. We're here for the student athletes. We're here to make sure that their experience is unbelievable. Our slogan here at the University of Wisconsin is for the school. Coach Alvarez has given us this slogan that says, if I came back to recruit you after you graduated, right, would you commit to Wisconsin again? And we want every one of our kids to say, without a doubt, I would come back here and give you another 5 years of my life. So that's what we recruit on. That's it. Every decision is based on that kind of this. We want to make sure that they'll come back here again if we recruited them. So the next question, what's the biggest takeaway from the 3 schools you've been a head coach at? Biggest takeaway, right? My biggest takeaway. Man, that's a good question. Well, I can tell you, we'll start at Chattanooga. I was a head coach at Chattanooga. Biggest takeaway at Chattanooga was I learned that you should never be too big to do any job. Okay, you're the head coach, right? I had to mop mats at Chattanooga. Again, I had to raise money. I had to recruit. I had to do everything. And you should never be number one, afraid to do the work. And number 2, never be afraid to ask for it. I was down there with one assistant coach. We were shorthanded, and we did everything. So my biggest takeaway, really, my first head coaching job was, everything falls on me. Period. If the mats didn't get clean, that's on me. You know what I mean? If a kid doesn't have his ankle taped, that's on me, right? If we don't have enough money in the budget, that's on. So I learned that I had to make sure. My biggest takeaway there, and that was really because I think it would have been at any job, would have been to make sure that everything falls on me. Number two, at South Dakota State, basically my biggest takeaway was there, and this is with anything, right? But if you dream it, you can do it. We're out in the middle of South Dakota. You know, it was a Division II school 10 years before I got there. It only been transitioned to Division I for 10 years. Never had a division, or I think I had one Division I NCAA qualifier. I think I forget. Never beat a couple of big schools. Never did this, never did that, right? If you can dream it, you can do it. If it takes work, it did. We put a plan together and we stuck to the plan. We didn't compromise our principles. There was a lot of rough patches, right? My first 2 years there, we had one NCAA qualifier, and we didn't score a point at the NCAA tournament. All the way to my last year there, I think we had 7 NCAA qualifiers, national champ, 3 All-Americans, 12th in the country, and we didn't lose a Big 12 dual meet. We were undefeated in Big 12 dual meets, right? So I think that one is if you can dream it, you can do it. And then my next thing will tell you that passion right there will I was a renewed guy. If you remember when I got out of wrestling for a little bit, and then and I was out of wrestling for a year and a half selling medical devices. And when I jumped back into coaching, it was, I was renewed. There was a sense of passion that I had that, A, I was not going to be outworked. B, I was not going to fail. C, I was going to do anything it took to help our kids achieve what they wanted to achieve, and our team to do whatever. And then I had the backing like no other. Those fans out there supported us like there was no tomorrow. So we, then it got to be more of a sense of the town pride, a sense of school pride, a sense of, I'm not going to let these guys down. They're spending their hard-earned money. They're supporting our clubs. They're selling our arena out, and we're not going to let them down. So it became a thing. And then here at Wisconsin, what I take away from here, I take away a lot so far in our 2 years here at Wisconsin. I have learned here just the value of being at a bigger school, the value that these student athletes really have, the things that what's the word? You could use the word that some people would have entitlement. You could actually sit here and be complacent. And I have learned that, right? I could sit here and let everybody else do the work. I have a nutritionist. I have a strength coach. I have a team doctors. I have great physical therapists. But ultimately, I want to be in the trenches. You know what I mean? I'm at every single lift. I'm at every single run. I'm down there with the kids doing the rehab. I'm in the wrestling room every single day. I could really sit back here and let other people do we do, don't get me wrong. I'm not a micromanager, right? We turn them over to the strength coach through yours, but I'm down there encouraging them, right? We're down there making sure that those guys are 100% motivated, right? Where I could sleep in, I could not be there. These guys are 100% capable. The quality of the staff that we have around us is amazing. And if you really don't get it, you could get lost in your own program. You know what I mean? You could get lost in your own program and only see these kids 2 days because of the quality of people we have. So the things that I've never really had this until I got here was so many people are involved in our program, from academic people to, like I said, strength and tradition to nutrition to advisors. You know, I have so many people that I make sure that my hands are at least in every single aspect of it. And I am making sure that I am there motivating the guys. And if not, you could be in trouble. So I would tell you that I'm more of a CEO here. I've learned to be a way bigger CEO to make sure that I understand what's going on in every part. I have tons of staff meetings with our whole staff. My office is filled with like 26 people on every Monday, from marketing to ticket people to sports psychologists to our team docs to strength and conditioning. And then the best thing here that I take away is it's all about teamwork. Right? If those 26 people in my program aren't on the same page, our program blows up, right? If strength and conditioning doesn't know someone has a hurt shoulder, right, he can make them lift weights and that could keep them hurt. If the athletic trainer people aren't talking to a nutritionist about what weight they should be at, the skin. So it's a team. So I've taken away how to be a way better CEO and how to be a way better manager of people that I want our program. Okay. Next question. What is the best advice you can give to high school coaches to get their kids noticed by Division I wrestling coaches early in their career? I tell you to get in front of us. Get in front of us. You would be amazed how many kids are in our program because I've seen them at a wrestling camp in 8th grade, 7th grade. And that's, you know what I mean? And you get to know them. You know what I mean? And you're like, man, that's a great kid. I'd love to have him in my program. Obviously, going to national tournaments, Fargo, Super 32, the big tournaments, right? We're out prep nationals, and having success is the ultimate way to get in front of us. But, you know, if you're talking early age, I would tell you to find a camp that we are at and get in front of us. And, I know like this year we were going to have a prospect camp, and our prospect camp sold out in 25 minutes. And, before COVID hit. And when I looked at the people on that list, I knew 98% of them. And they're early young kids, 8th, 9th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th grade. And I looked at them, and it was because I had a relationship at a camp with them. Obviously, we've seen a lot of them in Fargo, but I would tell you to get in front of us, right? We're not allowed to, after 8th grade, we can't respond back to you in emails and text messages and things like that. And believe me, we get a lot of them. But when you can actually be at a camp and say hello, and, you go swimming with the coach or do whatever it is, and you get to know them on a personal level, you start talking. That's the kid I want in my program. He can wrestle. I know that. His grades are great. I know that. But personality-wise, man, that's a kid I want. So I would tell you to get out, get in front of these guys at camps, clinics, wherever you can. Bring coaches in to do a camp at your school, or bring them in to speak or things like that. And don't just send a letter. Don't just send an email. Don't just send a highlight video. But it's making sure you as the coach get your kids in front of these guys. What role do you see team leaders play in building the culture of your program, recruiting? Okay, that's a great question. All right. Because I can tell you, I got to Wisconsin, right? And I didn't have a chance to recruit that year. We got here in April, and there was team leaders here. And I don't know how personal I can get into this, but right, they were team leaders, and they weren't doing the things they should be by being team leaders. What I mean by that is the kids were, there's natural leaders, right? There's people that you just look at, and they lead you down the wrong way. And it's very, very important to have leaders on your team that believe in your culture and that do the right things. It's very, very, very important, because these kids are not around you as much as they are around their peers. And like I said, they're natural leaders, one way or the other. If kids aren't doing the right thing, if they're cheating on their sprints, if they're not doing it right, the others look at that. Because sometimes, and as a coach, where you really have to step up is you have to hold your so-called leaders accountable. If they're not finishing that sprint, but that's a national champion, and you let him slide, those kids see that. You know what I mean? And I'll never forget this. When we had Seth Gross, man, I rode that kid hard. I rode him hard because there were times he could get lazy. And I think that's where we gained a lot of respect at South Dakota State. He was already an All-American, but I knew the kid could win a national title. The kid was second in the country, and I think some of the little things we let him get away with, I'll take that second place championship as my fault and not a national championship, because I let him slide a little bit because he was so good. He could overcome some things. And what I mean by that was a lot of technical stuff, right? He always gave us his best effort in this, but there was some tech. I just knew at some point, Seth, you've got to defend your legs, baseline defense. Right? There's going to be someone who's going to finish on you early in the match or something, and you're not going to run. He lost 3-2, I think, in that national championship match because, we did something wrong technically that I'd let him get away with forever because I knew he was going to still win big matches. So I think you've got to hold your team accountable, and you do have to have leaders doing things on their own without you telling them. And what I mean by that is calling your other guys out, making sure they're giving their best effort. Making sure, I'm not talking about you saying, hey, jump Johnny's butt. That has to come from within. And when you start seeing that in your room, I walk away from it, right? When I start seeing someone chewing someone else's butt, I literally turn around and walk away because I know now it's getting better. You know what I mean? You've got to have people that want to win individually. You've got to have them that want to win the team. And you've got to have them hold everybody else accountable. What are you going to do to keep getting the best wrestlers in the state of Wisconsin? Yeah, listen, this is my model. I know that the coach before me here took a ton of heat for not keeping the best kids in Wisconsin. Believe me, we are recruiting the best kids in Wisconsin. We're recruiting the best ones. We want this team full of kids from Wisconsin. That is how you build your fan base. I understand that. But I also understand that we're trying to win a national championship. And could we do it with 10 guys in the state of Wisconsin? I would love to. That would be the ultimate. But we also need to go outside the state and get kids. But we are doing everything possible to keep our kids here in state. Again, we have an RTC here, right? That the best kids were coming 2 or 3 times a week. Over 80 kids in the state of Wisconsin, 2 or 3 times a week last spring. Obviously, we got shut down this year. We couldn't do it because of COVID. So we're doing that. Like I told you before, any camp or clinic I'm getting asked to do in the state of Wisconsin, it's a yes. Any speaking engagement, it's a yes, right? Now, where the tricky part is that we catch a ton of heat for is our academic standards here. Every kid in the state of Wisconsin is not getting into school. That's just the bottom line. We have great academics here. Every kid in the state of Wisconsin is not getting a full scholarship, right? We have 9.9 scholarships for 30 kids, 32 kids. So when you see us possibly lose a big-time kid, it could be financial, right? It could be academics. But it's never going to be for the lack of trying. It's never going to be for the lack of us not recruiting them. You know, you got to remember, right? The University of Minnesota is on our tail recruiting these Wisconsin kids. Those Western Wisconsin kids are right there. You know, Illinois is all over these kids. You know what I mean? And in our relationship with Ben Askren is the best. He's producing the best kids in the state. So I know them before anybody else knows them. And then now we're just trying to make sure that they become Badgers. We want these kids, right? And I think this is going to take some time, but we want these kids, right, when they're 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 years old, to say, I want to be a Badger. I want to wrestle for the Badgers when I am in college. And that's going to take some time. And that's going to take parents taking them to our matches, right? And that's going to take, after the matches, us sticking around and signing autographs and hugging little kids and really getting them to believe that, hey, someday you're going to have that W on your chest. And that's going to take a little bit of time. And you know, we're well on our way. We're on the best kids in Wisconsin. I want them all. I don't want anyone ever leaving the state. That's our number one game plan. And it'll happen. I promise you that. Okay, so that's all the questions. Anybody have any other questions? I don't see any other questions there.
Coach, that was phenomenal. I loved it. I thought really great stuff. And the big thing to take away from me, many things obviously, but the willingness to work. I mean, you said how if you have an opportunity, you're going to be there. I've always felt that too, as far as wrestling and now with our business. It's a yes. It's a done deal. And however that might be perceived, whatever, we're trying to do something. We have big goals. I really love that attitude about you. Also, I love how you said any job. You got to be willing to do any job. Whatever comes your way, you got to do it. And it's easy. Yes, of course, there's a time and a place to delegate, but you got to be in there. You got to be in the trenches. You got to have that willingness. So I just think that's absolutely huge. Thank you. Really
yeah, man, that's what we are. We're wrestlers. You know what I mean? We're wrestlers and we're learning to be CEOs, right? And I think the best coaches are becoming CEOs of their program. Learning how to delegate is important. Learning how to hold people accountable is even more important. You know what I mean? And in our sport, you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, man, we're lazy. Coaches are lazy. I would love for 1 year, I would love for everybody to punch the clock. I would love for everybody to and then let's see how many people we have practice from, 2 to 3:30. How many people go home at 4 o'clock, right? How many people are not getting to the office till 9, 10 o'clock? Oh, strength coach has got them today from 7 to 8. I can get in at 10. You know what, man? There's a kid that might be in your office at 7:30 needing to talk. You know what I mean? There's, you know, I tell our guys this all the time. Let's get in that office and let's go walk over to football and say hello, right? Let's go bring someone a cup of coffee. Let's go. You know what I mean? Let's go see Coach Alvarez and walk up there before he gets too busy. You know what I mean? We do those things. You know, build camaraderie, right? Get out of bed. That's our number one problem in life. Get out of bed. You know what I mean? You sleep your life away. Get out of bed and get to work.
Right. And when does that usually start? But the night before. It's really easy to just that's what it really is, because like, oh, it's hard to get up early. It's not hard to get up early if you're going to bed at 10.
Yeah,
it's just hard to go to bed at 10.
It's about a routine too, buddy. It's about a routine. You know what I mean? If you just say, oh, Wednesday, I'm going to get up at 5 up, it's easy to go to sleep, right? You know what? We tell everybody the first test of the day is your alarm clock. You know what I mean? If you hit snooze, you failed your first test of the day. You know, the alarm clock goes off. There's a reason why you set the alarm clock. Get up.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach, great stuff. Really appreciate it. Coach Chris Bono.
I think there's some more questions. No?
Are there? So where do we
Wow, hang on. My man Stabilito, the Warmest for Spartans. That's my old youth club when I started wrestling. How you doing, Joey? Look at him. That's good stuff, man. That's old school. That's old school right there.
Awesome. Oh,
that's
great.
really cool. That's really cool.
Absolutely, Coach. Yeah, so where do we send people? Websites, social media pages?
We got 9 million of them, right? I mean, we got all of our staff on there, you know. And as you know, we hired Seth Gross as our new assistant coach. Seth's going to be trying to win the Olympic Games this year. He's doing a heck of a job as a coach already. You know, we got John Reeder on staff. They all have Twitter. They all have Instagram. They all got don't follow Gross's TikTok. That thing's bad. I keep telling him. He's got some dumb jokes on there, but I don't know what the name of our Badger wrestling stuff is everywhere. I don't know the names of everything.
Google it.
Google it. Hey, our RTC is going to make an announcement here. We're about to have a fundraiser that's going to support women's wrestling. It's going to support the Black Wrestling Alliance that we right now that we're going to make donations to. So everybody keep an eye out for that. And hopefully you can support that cause here in the next day or so. It might be out today. I got my phone's blowing up, so I think it's out today. But with all the stuff going on in the world, we want to do our part and raise some money for those organizations, and we're going to do it through the RTC.
Great stuff, Coach. Thank you very much for all that you do. Appreciate having you.
Anybody on here, coaches, shoot me if you need anything. I'm always available by email. I answer all my emails. If you have questions after this, I appreciate these guys at Mindset giving me a platform to talk a little bit about our program and what we do. But again, I'm here to help all you guys. I'd love to get a relationship with everybody on this call. Love to, answer an email, whatever you need. I'm here 24/7. And remember, I'm here to support wrestling, grow wrestling. And in this time, I think we all need to come together and really get this thing and make sure our program stays safe. And so give me a shout. There's my email down there. Thanks, Jake. And we'll make sure that we get back to you.
Absolutely.